Hello, and welcome to today's workshop, Coach Your Team to Success. My name is Bernice Chao, and I'm from Cupertino, California, and attended Pasadena Arts Center College of Design. I'm a creative lead and manage the creative department at my company. I'm also a professor at LMU, co-founder of the global nonprofit Asians in Advertising, and co-author to the award-winning book, Visibility Mindset, How Asian American Leaders Create Opportunities and Push Past Boundaries. Grow with Google is an initiative that brings the best of Google's training and tools to help people grow their skills, careers, and businesses. Today, you're going to learn the attributes of good managers and how you can best coach your team members to maximize their potential and performance. When you think about startups failing, you might immediately assume it was a cash flow issue. You could also guess that it was a product or marketing problem. One of the last things many of us might assume is that the failure was related to the company's people. But in reality, 65% of startups fail because of people-related issue. Many startups think about their people and their HR process after the product and marketing strategy. But in actuality, this could not be more important. This stuff really matters. Nothing is more important than the people you bring on your team to accomplish the dream with you. You can have the most brilliant business idea, and without the right team, it will never work. Let's talk about why we're here today. Our first learning objective for this workshop is understanding what makes a great manager based on the attributes and behaviors observed through Google's internal research. We'll see the 10 attributes that make the best managers. Then we'll learn how to be a good coach for your team and understand when to direct, when to mentor, and when to coach. Lastly, we'll help you understand how to provide meaningful and developmental feedback to your team. The idea here is really to maximize their potential, performance, and their own development. To be the best manager and coach for your team, you first need to understand those attributes and qualities that make great leaders. Many of you might feel uncomfortable with the idea of managing others or believe that a talented team will do a good job naturally. But effective management plays a key role in a team's success, and even more important, is one of the strongest reasons for employees to stay with a company or decide to leave. So, what does this mean for all of you? There are some really basic things, many of which I'm sure you're already doing to ensure you are a great manager. Create an inclusive environment. Are you modeling a respectable and inclusive environment? Are you encouraging everyone to show up as their true, authentic selves? And are you supporting your team in good times and in bad? Empower the team and don't micromanage. Are you involved in every nitty-gritty detail or path your team takes? Or do they feel empowered to make decisions, take risks, and innovate on their own? Support creative development and discuss performance. Do you communicate performance and expectations clearly? Are you aware of your team's career, goals, dreams? Do you help your team find opportunities and continue to grow in their career and potential? Be a good coach. Are you providing specific feedback? Are you asking good questions to help your team find solutions and explore options? Are you having regular one-to-ones with each member of your team that include feedback and coaching? Be a good communicator. Do you encourage open dialogue on your team? Are you responsive and transparent with your team? Are you truthful and calm? And are you a good listener? Have a clear vision and strategy for the team. This one is especially important for startups. As people who join you likely join for the vision of your company, so do you have a compelling vision and strategy that motivates and inspires your team. Did you involve your team in the creation of that vision? And are you able to clearly communicate it? Be productive and results-oriented. Are you able to translate the vision and strategy into tangible goals, objectives, and key results? Are you clear about who owns what? Do you structure your team and allocate resources appropriately? Do you have a diverse team with different skills, perspectives, and experiences? Collaborate. Are you modeling collaboration across all parts of the team? Do you hold your team accountable for upholding your cultural and team values? Do you contribute to the culture and community of your team by working across functions and locations when applicable? Be a strong decision maker. Are you able to make tough decisions efficiently in a way that is good for your company? Do you clearly communicate that decision? For example, when you get full consensus versus when you make an executive decision as the founder? Have key technical skills to help advise the team. Lastly, are you able to and willing to roll up your sleeves and actually do work alongside your team? Do you understand the challenges and complexities of the work your team is doing? Are you constantly learning and growing your skills to meet the needs of your business? So think about what resonates for you. What do you think you'd like to focus on? What are you already doing well? Which areas feel like they're not applicable to you? Today, we're going to focus in on what it means to be a good coach, as this is one of those areas that can make a significant difference in the overall success of your team members. What does it mean to be a coach? Coaching is a mindset, a way of being, a way of relating, a way of connecting. Coaching is about unlocking someone's potential. This is huge for you as a founder or manager because eventually it will free up your time, empower your team, and essentially up-level your entire company. This is like the old adage, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Coaching is investing the time with someone to help them learn how to fish. But when do we know that it's the appropriate time to coach? As a people manager and a leader, one of the most difficult things is knowing when and how to coach. You're asked to do a lot. You have to teach, train, mentor, and coach. And you have to be able to adjust your approach based on the circumstances, the needs of your team, and the opportunity for growth. On this chart, you will see teaching on the far end of the spectrum, where a manager shares their ideas and knowledge. But on the opposite end, in a coaching conversation, the individual being coached is mostly sharing their own ideas, which results in their development. Of course, as a people manager and leader, there are many times when you'll still have to be directive, to tell someone exactly what and how to do something. But the more you can spend on the right side of the continuum, the more you'll be able to free up yourself, empower your team, and maximize the potential of every person you work with. Coaching is all the way on the right side of the continuum because it's about the individual or the employee you are working with. It's about encouraging their ideas, their development, rather than imparting your own experience or knowledge. This is a chance for you to step outside yourself, take the pressure off, and simply focus on the person you are coaching. Now that you understand why coaching is important, let's talk about how you can best coach your team to maximize their performance in their everyday tasks. How can you begin coaching today? The idea is not to have you all go out and become certified coaches. The idea is that you can become more coach-like in your approach with your team, your employees, and maybe even people in your personal life. The true foundation of being a good coach is good listening and good asking. These are very basic skill sets, which I'm sure you're all fairly good at already, but we'll dive into the different ways to show up, truly listen, and see your team, and to be curious so that you can ask good, open-ended questions. Great coaching actually starts with good listening. Many of you likely know what it means to be an active listener, to tilt your head toward the person you're talking to nod, make eye contact. But did you know there are different levels of listening that can indicate where your focus is when you are in the conversation? Level 1, listening is really internal listening. We've all done this, and we've all been on the receiving end of this kind of listening, where someone is talking to you and you're nodding and saying, oh yeah, of course. But in your head, you're reviewing your grocery list, wondering if you remember to feed your cat, and planning what you'll eat for dinner. This is really passive attention, stuck in your own head and really disengaged with the person you are with. Level 2 is factual and focused listening. For example, two colleagues might have a business meeting to work out a new sales process. They're listening closely to each other's ideas, they're engaged and participating, but the focus is on the facts, words, and objects. Level 3 is truly whole body listening and really focuses on bringing empathy into the conversation. You're engaged in what the person is saying while also taking in the values and feelings involved in what you're hearing. Most importantly, you're truly suspending your own agenda and judgment. When listening to your team members, levels 2 and 3 are where you want to be. To say or think, oh, that's happened to me, or to get lost in your own head. But the more you can bring your attention back to the human being in front of you to listen to their stories without judgment or a need to paraphrase or connect it to you, the more fully they will feel seen and heard. This is a hugely powerful tool in coaching. While good coaching starts with the right kind of listening, it's also about asking the right questions. Coaching has so much to do with asking good questions. The good news is that when you're coaching, you never need to know the answer. Congratulations. You just get to sit back and ask open-ended questions. Of course, we really want to avoid yes/no questions in coaching because these questions don't allow for greater discovery and learning from the coachee. A great tip for you when you are in a coaching conversation or trying to coach your employee is to ask yourself, am I asking this question for my own information gathering or for my coachee's discovery? If you're ever asking the question just to gather information on the topic at hand, don't ask it. You truly don't need to know anything about the topic when you are coaching. Oftentimes, knowing more makes it more difficult for you to remain unbiased and to not give advice. The best types of questions to ask are what and how questions because they solicit more thoughtful exploration from the coachee. Who, when, and where questions can be useful, but usually are more informative and factual based. We want to steer clear from why questions because they can often get people in a defensive place. A great alternative is how come. A great acronym to help you stay focused while coaching is WAIT. WAIT, or why am I talking? Of course, asking powerful questions is very important, but you as the coach should really only be talking 20% of the time at the most. Ask simple, open-ended questions and then step back. Silence is okay. If there is silence, it usually means you've asked a thought-provoking question. You don't need to fill that silence, and you don't need to qualify your questions, elaborate, or provide input. Just remember to ask yourself before you speak, why am I talking? Maybe you're wondering where to start when it comes to asking questions. Here are some great sample questions you can use to get started coaching. What's happening? This is all about establishing the current state. Coaching is present and future focused. So this is about bringing the coachee to the present moment to understand what's happening exactly now. Number 2, what's most important? This is great to get an understanding of what's most important to the coachee, where they want to go, and to establish that ideal future state. Number 3, how did you get there? This is about laying the groundwork and having the coachee understand how to take the steps to move forward toward their ideal future state. Once again, in this place, you don't have to advise or tell them what to do. It's all in their hands. Good coaching is based on the foundational belief that people are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, which might sound a little woo-woo, but what it really means is that every person you are working with and coaching has all the solutions and ideas inside them. When you're coaching, your job is merely to help them uncover those solutions. A great model we can use to begin coaching is the GROW model. This will help you work through basic coaching framework when you're working with your team. The G in GROW stands for goal you want. The R, reality of today. O, options for action. W, will take these steps. The GROW model, goal, reality, options, and will, can aid in the natural evolution of a coaching conversation. The key here is to not rush to the will or to the action. Coaching is all about discovery. You should spend 90% of your time in the goal, reality, and option space, really focusing on the goal and reality. It's so rare for people to explore options aloud, to dream about their goal, to explore the reality. Coaching is the time for this. It's a human tendency to rush toward the solutions to immediately fix the problems and fix it. But if you free yourself from this urge, you can truly help your team explore and grow on their own without a need to find a solution. Here are some sample questions for the GROW coaching model that you may find helpful. We have broken out the different categories of the GROW coaching model and applied questions that can guide you in getting started with each phase of the model. Goals. What is your goal? What is most important for you? How can I help? What is on your mind? What are your innermost interests and needs? What does success look like for you? What is your ideal outcome? Reality. What have you done so far? What's happening in the situation? How could you learn more? What do your colleagues say? How would you rank your priorities? If your perspective is welcome, consider feedback on skills, accomplishments, reputation, strengths, and weaknesses. Options. What are steps forward? What experiments could you try? What else? What else? Stretch assignments, big projects, experiences, networking options, mentors. And finally, will. What is the next right step? What do you want to do? What is a good deadline for that? What resources would help? How can I help? What advocacy would help? What is a small step forward? How do you want us to monitor? How can we track progress? Sometimes the best way to learn is simply to understand how concepts work in practice. Let's look at a common coaching example together. As a manager, you may have been faced with situations on your team where one member in particular, who was once a high performer, makes a total shift in their performance and overall demeanor. In this mock scenario, Angela is the owner of a local coffee shop. One of Angela's store managers, Claire, is displaying behavior that seems out of the ordinary for her. Angela has addressed these concerns in a more formal performance review, and Claire responded that she will try harder. Because not much has changed from these conversations, Angela decided to sit down with Claire for a coaching session. Angela chooses a quiet, informal, private place to have this coaching conversation and greets Claire with a warm and welcoming smile. Coaching conversations should be designed to put the coachee at ease. The more comfortable they are, the more likely they are to open up about their challenges and goals. Let's look at some of the questions Angela may decide to ask Claire during their coaching session. Using the GROW model, Angela may start with asking Claire to discuss her goals and desires for her role. Through a series of questions and active listening, Angela may learn that Claire actually just graduated from a part-time graduate school where she was studying marketing. She has a deep passion for design and would like to utilize those skills, but her demanding management role at the coffee shop doesn't allow for much extra time for creativity. As Angela moves through some of the reality questions, she also learns that Claire is caring for an ill family member at home, and the hours that she keeps at the coffee shop make it difficult for her to juggle her personal duties. Sometimes she is late for work because she has to arrange for extra help at home or has to take her family member to doctor's visits. The stress of her home situation often carries over to her work and affects her mood with the baristas and customers. From this example, Angela has learned that some assumptions she made about Claire's performance issues were totally wrong. The concerns have everything to do with Claire's motivation for the type of work she is doing and a challenging personal solution. As Angela moves through the questions related to options and steps to move forward, she learns that Claire has some great ideas for marketing the coffee shop. Angela knows that her marketing is lacking, and she really needs some extra support in that area. Together, Angela and Claire come up with a plan for Claire to do some marketing for the coffee shop at home during the day so that she can care for her ill family member. Angela also gives Claire the option to work more evening hours to give her more flexibility to be home for doctor's appointments. Angela and Claire commit to meeting every other week for more coaching to discuss her progress and the new responsibilities and any changing needs in her home life. Had this coaching conversation never taken place, Claire may have sought out a marketing position elsewhere, and Angela may have made assumptions about Claire's work ethic or focus when she was merely stretched too thin due to caring for her family member in need. Coaching can help us creatively problem solve and to be a bit more human as well. Now, let's talk about when it's time to give feedback. This often goes hand in hand with coaching conversations. Hopefully, we've all been given feedback. Hopefully, we've all given feedback. We know it's a positive thing intended to help us grow and develop. Yet, someone can say those things, I have some feedback for you, and it can often be a fear-inducing phrase. My goal today is to help you begin to see what a gift feedback is and begin to give that gift to each member of your team on a regular, consistent basis. When you're giving feedback, think about how you're presenting it. Avoid listing only areas that needs improvement. It's important always to acknowledge that when someone is doing well. You also want to avoid sandwiching feedback, saying one good thing, one bad thing, one good thing. People will see right through that. You want to give a ratio of constructive and positive feedback of 5-1. That means you should be acknowledging your team's performance, and when you see good things, say so. And of course, when there's an opportunity to provide constructive feedback, always do so. We are going to review a framework for delivering feedback and help you understand the best time and place to deliver this feedback to your team for maximum impact. Let's talk about feedback and how to best deliver it. Have you ever heard the old adage, it's not what you say, it's how you say it? Well, approach is everything when it comes to feedback. If you deliver feedback in an effective way, it could have a negative impact on the morale of your team, their development, their trust in you, and their commitment to your company. This is where approach really matters. You need to find a style that works for you, but here is a framework we recommend to ensure your feedback is grounded, action-oriented, and truly aimed to develop your team, not to criticize them. Your feedback should always start with the situation. Exactly when did you see this happening? Avoid generalizations. Be as specific as possible. Move to behavior you observed. What did they do or say? Lastly, and most importantly, is the impact. What's the impact of the behavior? Or in other words, what's the purpose of providing this feedback? Once you move through this framework, you can work with your team member to clarify any questions, create options, and agree on next steps. Here are some examples of what the SBI framework looks like in action. Using the example of Angela's coffee shop from our case study, I encourage you to think about the kind of situation you may face as a manager in your business startup or workshop. Situation: when the store got busy during the rush hour. Behavior: you went above and beyond to accommodate a customer with special needs. And the impact was the customer later contacted management to show appreciation for how supported they felt. That's great. Positive feedback. Now let's look at another scenario. Same situation. The store was busy during rush hour. The behavior being addressed: you didn't perform or delegate an important cleaning protocol, like mopping up a spilled coffee on the floor. And the impact: it puts our customer and staff at risk. This is meant to be developmental, constructive feedback. In summary, get the mindset for giving feedback. It is always positive because it shows you care about the success. Try using the steps. Preparation is key. Be yourself, authentic and honest. Adapt the conversation to your style and to your direct report style. Share more positive motivational feedback than developmental. 5-1. This model can help you coach your team to success. But the most important thing is that you are giving consistent, timely, and actionable feedback to your team on a consistent basis. This should not be something you're doing only during performance reviews or only each quarter. This should be on a consistent, ongoing basis. It's all in the service of your team and therefore your company. Now, it's time to recap what we learned today. Today, we learned about 10 attributes that make up a good people manager. Create an inclusive environment, empower the team and don't micromanage, support career development and discuss performance, be a good coach, be a good communicator, have a clear vision and strategy for the team, be productive and results-oriented, collaborate, be a strong decision maker, and have the technical skills to advise the team. We will focus in on what it means to be a good coach and address how to coach using the GROW model: goal, reality, options, and will. And we discuss how to best give feedback using the situation, behavior, impact model. Now let's review some of the free resources from Google. If you enjoy video lessons, subscribe to the Grow with Google YouTube channel at youtube.com/growwithgoogle. This channel publishes a new video every Thursday covering topics that can help you grow your skills, careers, and businesses. If you're looking to start a new career and land a competitively paid job or build skills to grow in your career, check out Google Career Certificates. Google Career Certificates can help you give you a path to an in-demand job with top employers that are currently hiring. You can earn a certificate and prepare for a new career in a high-growth field in under 6 months, even if you don't have relevant experience. Learn at your own pace and complete the online program on your own terms. Certificates are available for IT support, project management, UX design, data analytics, and digital marketing and e-commerce. Get started at grow.google/certificates. Also, U.S. businesses can get up to 500 scholarships each to Google Career Certificates to train their employees. These scholarships are worth up to $100,000 in workforce training per American company. Here's the fine print. U.S. businesses are eligible to receive up to 500 scholarships for Google Career Certificates on Coursera, valid through December 18, 2024. Eligibility and number of licenses granted subject to application, business verification, and approval by Coursera. Businesses can apply at grow.google/certificates for business. Grow with Google is an initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their business. Job seekers can grow their skills in order to find new jobs and advance their careers. Teachers can learn how to put the latest technology to work inside and outside of the classroom. Small business owners can build their online presence and find new customers. Startups can learn how to get their ideas the exposure they need to succeed. Developers can sharpen their current skills and master new ones. To learn more, visit google.com/grow. Thank you.